Well, I don't care if we do a short episode.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
also
cool.
pretty.
I was surprised y'all could come up with anything to do last week.
We did you listen to last week?
I haven't, dude. I've just done nothing but interviews for the last week.
That's
I got
perfectly.
shit. Yeah.
That's perfectly okay. Keep it that way. Welcome to the Game Corner, another video game podcast. My name is Harrison. You might know me online as RobKTA, and I am joined by my friend and co-host,
Rowan, you might know me as Mocha. I am unfortunately today not joined by our friend and other co-host Sheldon, but he's here with us in spirit.
We keep switching off, and it's A-okay.
That's why there's three of us.
That's, for those of you who listened to last week's episode, this is the same conversation I had with Sheldon, in which I say, when do I get a break? Anyway.
Never.
That's okay. No, it's fine. It's super fun. Yeah, that was literally exactly what Sheldon said at that moment. Like, it was a verbatim repeat, and you just said, which I might leave in the opening, that you did not listen to last week. So, yeah, it was completely unprompted. What's up? How are you doing?
I'm living. I'm doing okay. I'm getting ready for this Charlotte regional in a second. This is gonna be. I may do one more after this, but there's a chance that I'm gonna be kind of retired from competitive Pokemon until NAIC, which is like months from now. So after this event. So yeah, this is like my last big one for a minute.
Yeah, I was looking at that. So Charlotte is this weekend. Fort Wayne is the following weekend.
You could not pay me to go to Indiana, except NAIC might. NAIC is in Ohio, which is almost as bad, but I digress.
Yeah, I'm not going. I don't think any of us are going to that one. Portland is expensive to go to. I might go to Hartford. I know.
That's the one I'm considering going to. That's still not till like June or something, right?
Hartford is May 19th.
May. Okay, May. That's still 2 months out. Yeah.
Ooh, I might. We'll see. I know Kevin's gonna try and convince us to go to Hartford.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
That'll be fun. That's the only one that I could possibly swing.
Yeah,
I mean, Milwaukee and Fresno, California are after that.
Yeah, after San Diego, I'm not traveling across the country again. Not
to San Diego. I mean, not to California.
Yeah,
that sucks.
But to answer your question, stressing a little bit because I'd like to do well in my last one before I have to take a little break from this.
That's fair. I mean, and then NASC is when again? We have the date somewhere. I had that.
That one's I think like midsummer.
Yeah, June.
June something. Yeah.
June somethingeth. Which I do want to go to. That'll be super fun.
It'll be good. I've never been to an Internets before, and the other thing though is that it's going to be. I would expect it to be kind of hard to get into. From what I heard, there were people clicking the button at the minute that it came on for EUIC, and they didn't get registered. And like good players too. It was we're gonna get to this in a minute, but with the I can't even pronounce this. Utrecht, is that the name? Is that how you say it?
I think it's Utrecht. For everyone from the Netherlands or more cultured than the two of us, we apologize.
Yeah,
we're gonna keep saying Utrecht, but pretend we're saying it right if we're not.
At the special event last weekend, there were interviews where players who were making it into day 2, making the top cut, the people were asked by the commentators, "Hey, are you going to EUIC? You're really good. You should go." And they said, "Oh, I tried, but I couldn't." And then there was just an awkward silence as the commentators like, "I cannot actually talk about how incompetent that it is that happened, but we're just gonna kind of glaze over it for a minute." So yeah, I'm a little worried about that happening for NAIC too.
Yeah, NAIC is June 30th to July 2nd, so literally the last day of I think what Regulation C is.
Yeah. I am excited to get into Regulation C, though, because I've been still focusing on Series 2, of course, because that's what Charlotte is. And I think Charlotte's the last major event in Series 2.
I believe so.
So while the rest of the world has moved on and got to play with my favorite sword leopard, I really like Station 2. I feel like there's a trend here. I moved from sword dog to sword cat, but like everybody else has got to move on and play with these new toys, and I still have to like zero in on Series 2. I've been practicing a lot, and no one's even on the Series 2 ladder anymore. It actually takes like a solid 5 minutes to find a game on ladder.
Oh, I haven't even
when we do,
tried in the last couple days.
A 200 plus ELO differential between us.
Wow.
Okay. Internet.
Oh, you gone? No, you're still here. No. So to preface this, Rowan started off the call saying that he has internet problems, but he's still. I see him. You guys will see him.
Okay.
Do I message you on Discord and tell you that you're coming through to you are coming through to me? We can have a Nope, he's gone now. Huh. Oh, hey, there you are. You were coming through to me the whole time until
really?
I think you refreshed your page just then.
I did. I refreshed and I came back.
I have no idea what this does for editing later.
I'm so sorry. I'm so
Fine.
sorry. Yeah, and to anyone who's still listening, if you can't edit this out,
I was talking the whole time. It's gonna stay in.
Really? Yeah, I could. Okay, I couldn't.
To you, I was talking to you.
I couldn't hear a word you were saying.
I was gonna say we can have like a 1.5 sided conversation. You can talk, I can respond, and then you can just continue to talk. It'd be really funny.
Oh, neat. Okay, cool. We could probably make a game out of that, but yeah, apologies. My internet has been really weird recently. I had to talk to Harrison about this. I've got someone coming out tomorrow to look at it, but yeah, anyway, yeah, so it's been kind of a struggle to prepare, honestly, at this point. Like, nobody else is playing the format, so I've been, like, beating up on people who are, like, 200 to 300 ELO lower than me on Showdown.
Like me!
And it happened again. This might not be doable.
No, we got this. I just said, you're still here. You're still there. You're still there.
Yeah, I can see the uploading just stuck.
But it's still there. That's so weird. Well, okay. I don't actually want to continue the conversation. Oh, that's a problem. Okay, we'll do this again. One more time. We're gonna make a fun video out of this. We'll make it work.
I'm sorry. Let's try. Let's try.
We're gonna have a really quick episode, y'all.
Yeah,
we got 7 minutes in.
Let's try one more and see if it works. I'll kill Discord and see if like having other stuff like
not
actively updating it. Yeah, I don't think that's it though. It goes from 2 gigabits to 0 at random seconds. So yeah, it's fun.
Also, the bougie guy over here with 2 gigabit internet.
Yeah, well, I feel a lot less bougie when it goes from 2 to 0. So
that's a fair point. Yeah, there's the trade-off.
Yeah,
I'll take the average at 1.
Yeah, yeah, me too. I would happily anyway. But yeah, it's a whole thing. So, do we want to get into Utrecht?
Let's look at Utrecht. So, since we're on a time limit, we're on a ticking time bomb of a podcast episode here. So Eric Rios and I'm so sorry,
Aurelian,
yeah. Sola.
Yeah.
Cool.
Took first and second. Yeah, it's actually a really star-studded top 8, and like everyone there. I think the only person here I hadn't heard of were Juan Odriozola and Antonio Sanchez were the only names that weren't like really well known to me. Everyone else is like pretty prominent, and that's those two are probably just because they don't know the European scene all that well. Yeah.
Yeah, it is nice. I mean, for what it's worth, to see top 8 that's all like local to that region, unlike the Australia NAIC where we had Americans at the top. Again. No. All right. This is so funny though. Oh, now he's gone. He's gone. What do I do with 9 minutes of episode?
Time it happens, but
he's back.
Yeah, it's literally not gonna.
I'm gonna publish this. I'm gonna do something with it. It'll be super funny.
Why not? You know
why not? Right? We gotta present that. We gotta keep that consistency. The algorithm loves that.
Here's a thought. This works on mobile, right?
Ooh, it
What
should.
if I what if
this
I
is
literally
just a website.
what if I just prop my phone up on here and use my AirPods, which will actually have good quality because they're directly to my phone,
Your
and
phone.
yeah, they'll use my
That's.
phone's Bluetooth adapter, not the shitty dongle I've been using.
I will be sad because it won't be as good as your mic because I know our mic is awesome. But
Yeah, but
we'll make it work.
it will be doable. So give me 5 minutes. I'll be right back.
5 minutes. I'm going to entertain for 5 minutes.
Yeah, this is not live. You don't have to.
I will. I'll do something.
I'll be right back.
Mainly because if I think I have to keep the recording going so that it like is all synced up. Boy, I hope that's accurate. Anyway, hello audience. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I've never been left alone in the studio for so long. He said it's not live, but I'm much more used to doing live streams, so I kind of want to just keep it going. I don't know how to edit things. I edit the podcast every week, but I'm not good at editing. I just make it. I just put it in the I made little boxes. If you don't watch the video, you should watch the video. I put little boxes for us, and that's it. There's not a whole lot of stuff. I want to upgrade it. I want to do more. If we can stop recording 6 hours before the podcast goes live, I can do more editing. That's an us thing, and like a me thing. That's okay. And speaking of live streams, I've been meaning to do more live streams. I did a live stream this month, which is more than I have been, which is great. But I need to do more. Anywho, how's everyone doing? I'm gonna think of, let's see, if you've made it this far into this episode, which is not very far, it's like 10 minutes in. I want you to go down to the comment section and say and tell us your favorite I think I already said Series 2 team in another episode, but I want to say again, what's your favorite thing to come out of Series 2? Ooh, wait, there's something popped up. It's still not him. We'll see how this goes. I'm excited to see how viable this is as an option. I'm also what's the word I'm looking for? I'm also curious to see how bad my single-sided stream of conscious is in the meantime.
Okay.
He's back!
Really weird camera angle, but this'll have to do.
Dude, you don't say really weird. Okay, if you guys made it this far in the episode and you have not been watching the video's available on Spotify, it's available on YouTube. Go look at Rowan's massive muscles he's showing off with this camera. He's just sitting there like, yeah, look at me. I'm like poor Natus here, like cross-armed and like big bulging muscles. I'm like, okay, yeah, you came back from the gym, didn't you?
I live in my gym, but yeah.
All right, we're gonna make this work. It'll still be a short episode. That's fine.
Yeah.
You just missed my fantastic monologue though. I was monologuing the whole time.
Really? On what?
Don't worry about it.
Okay. I do worry about it a little bit, but that's okay. So yeah, let's dive into some Utrecht teams. So Eric Rios first prize. First of all, I hate that this won because it's really good, and this is potentially the worst possible matchup for my team. It's just like straight up good stuff, and it's a trend that's been coming up really recently. I think it's hard to say what the star of the show is because this is all just really good mons that everybody uses to some degree. It's Arcanine, Amoonguss, Iron Bundle, so that really good trio, and then Iron Hands, Roaring Moon, and Goldango. So like
another
no
really good trio.
Yeah, like no surprises. Very just good stuff's balanced, right? But the I would say like the spice here, if there is any really, is the Terra Water on Goldango. I think it's like a bulky leftovers Goldango with Terra Water, and I think that's really big. It hurts Dolphin players like us a lot because
I'm
it can
so
just sit there and
tempted.
tank hits.
I'm so tempted to switch my Goldango set to something like this. Either take off Life Orb and give it leftovers and keep Steel, or just straight up copy this exact thing. I mean,
We can talk about that if you want to talk about some team building stuff. Like the thing that's so cool about this is it has the intimidate support, it has the redirection support, it has the fake out support. I guess your team has all that minus intimidate. But yeah,
right.
again, this has all these tools for it to like set up these nasty plots, get health back from lefties over time, and because it can reset its own stat draws, it still does massive damage. Like
Yeah.
it's a very scary mon. The other thing that's interesting to me on this is that it has Encore over Icy Wind on Iron Bundle. I've seen Encore over Hydro Pump a lot of the time for people who are just RN verse like me. But I think Cybertron did that for his really good regional run recently, and it made sense for someone who once again lost on Will-O-Wisp misses. So that's just unfortunate. But yeah, no, it's kind of funny. I guess Eric just decided like my team is bulky and powerful and it doesn't actually need that speed control because he already has the tailwind on Roaring Moon, so it makes sense to some degree.
Yeah, I was a little shocked to see that he went with Hydro Pump, which the couple of times that I ran Iron Bundle and another team I'm building for my wife that has Iron Bundle, I don't have Hydro Pump because it's gonna miss. 80% is not 100. Yeah.
And
So like
it's
that's
zero.
always scary. Yes. Precisely. Just like your internet. Um
Oh, brutal. That hurts. Yeah, but yeah, no, I'm on that train. Apparently Eric Rios is apparently willing to deal with a little bit of RNG. But to be fair, it's Hydro Pump and Will-O-Wisp on their team, and that's it. Everything else is
that is
100%
it.
accurate. So it's otherwise a very, very consistent team. Jawlock on Roaring Moon is also interesting. That was one of those tools that everybody saw on it initially and thought, hey, this is cool, this can lock my opponents in. But everyone just kind of went for Throat Chop after a while as
Yeah.
their dark coverage of choice. I think I'm not really sure what the logic was, to be honest. It has like that niche kind of like you can stop Perish Song, you can stop Snarl and that kind of thing with it. But
It's not
I
even
don't know
stop. It's just you can punish Perish Song,
Right.
Perish Trap. What's the
Yeah,
damage on it? It's
I
80
don't know
base
how they
power.
is that the same as Throat Chop? Is Throat Chop slightly stronger?
We're gonna find
Or
out.
slightly weaker rather?
Throat Chop. Throat Chop is also 80, so same base
same
power.
Just
the effect is different, right?
yeah. The other thing about it though is that it locks you in too. So when a mod
Yeah.
without Clear Amulet or something like that, it can actually kind of backfire on you that you're stuck in, and now they can just pivot their other slot to Intimidate repeatedly, and your Roaring Moon becomes useless. So there is that too. But yeah, I clearly it worked for them.
It's only locked so long as one of them are still alive, right?
I believe that's correct too, right?
Okay.
So, but yeah. There's not really much else to say about it. I don't know if you watched Eric's matches though, but they were a clinic. I don't think there was much RNG in his favor. He was just winning games and playing very, very well. It was hard to find any fault with it.
Yeah, I've been negligent on watching streams the last couple of weeks. I'm sad.
Yeah, I got a little time to tune in, but yeah, definitely more to watch for sure. So on that note, the person who I did really tune in to see was the second place finisher. This is Aurelian Sula. And the reason for that is that they are running Kyle Livinghouse's team from Orlando. So a while back, and and I've been watching Aurelian. They have been day twoing, top cutting with this team for at least 3 tours now, like 3
Wow.
major tournaments. Exactly this team, no changes whatsoever. Maybe in the EVs, but not in the Terra types, not in the moves, not in the items. And yeah, exactly the team I brought to Knoxville. And it's just been really cool to see a player better than me like bring it that one step further. I missed day 2 by a game, but they made second place at an incredibly stacked event. So super cool to see. But with all that said, they did get some nice RNG in their favor.
Oh, sure. That's always it's the problem with RNG in this game is it's super fun to watch, but not always super fun to to see.
Although it was a little
experience.
frustrating for me because I was watching, I was like, okay, I don't know how I would win this matchup playing this team that I have played a lot myself. I wonder how a better player would do it. And the answer was look like they're going to lose until they crit and then just suddenly win. I'm like, okay, all right.
That's not a reliable strategy. What are you doing? Also, to point out the Goldengo on this team as well, another option that I would put on Goldengo is Covert Cloak. So
Covert Cloak Goldengo is amazing. I will say that won me a lot of games in Knoxville. So you
Really?
have there are two things on that. So first off, a lot of people see Covert Cloak and they think, oh, this thing can't be fake gutted anyway, so why would I put it on there? But the answer is that, okay, Snarl drops, you don't care. Icy Wind drops, you also don't care. Which is massive because you have a booster bundle on your team with Icy Wind itself. So if you end up in those booster bundle mirrors where you're both fighting each other, because booster bundle is so powerful, it is powerful, but so fast, even if you lose the speed tie between the two bundles clicking Icy Wind, you will still go before your opponent's Mon, who had, despite getting hit by Icy Wind. And then your Goldengo doesn't care about the Icy Wind drop, so it gets to go first every time. You don't care about speed ties, you just click Icy Wind and attack with Goldengo, and as long as you don't lose the 95% accuracy hit, which, you may, that's life, you go first. And that's absolutely incredible. And then also you just have a built-in Garganical kill button.
Right, like it's your answer to Gargs for sure.
You go from losing 25% of your health every turn to Salt Cure to taking a resisted hit, has no base power, and just murdering it with Naked Rain. Or getting free nasty plots,
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's another one that I'm looking at. I'm gonna have a couple of options for Charlotte. But also Dragon Claw over Protect on Dragonite I like a lot.
Yeah, well, it's an Assault Vest set, which is why it gets that fourth move. And that fourth move is really up for contention a lot. So the thing about Dragonite that everybody already knows at this point, Dragonite's my favorite Pokemon, but its problem in this format,
oh wow,
yeah,
cool.
Now that it's become Terra Flying Terra Blast as its thing, it's become a complete Terra Hog. If you bring it, you really, really, really want to click that Terra button, which leaves you very inflexible with the rest of your team. Every other Mon on this team has something really good it can do with its Terra, like boost your damage with Goldie or Tusk, or become immune to Fake Out with Bundle, become immune to fighting moves with Bundle or Mousehold, and then Volcarona just gets a great defensive one. And Dragonite's just, I need to click this button to do damage with my main button.
So what I like about this set for Dragonite over that, because I'm running, we're running the same set for Dragonite. We're running Lumberry, which is cool, but you have Protect, and then instead of one of these moves, but if you at least have Dragon Claw on Dragonite, you can get a stab move.
You have a
you
stab
can do something
move
if you don't Terra.
Off of its base 134 attack. It does good damage. And again, in Knoxville, I won games with this, just clicking Dragon Claw, beating them down, because you have AV, you're bulky anyway, and you have Friend Guard off Mousehold. You can just keep clicking the strong stab move and doing great neutral damage every time. But it's a great way around that. But and it has the AV kind of gets around the loss of multi-scale, which is really nice. So you do get all the inner focus bonuses as well.
Right.
But we have Lum. We don't have to care about Fern, whereas Aurelion definitely does.
Yeah, there's a bunch of trade-offs there.
Yeah, but otherwise, it's a really cool team. It's very powerful. I would say the only piece that I don't like anymore is Volcarona. It's an amazing Psy Spam counter alongside Mousehold, but it doesn't do much outside of that. So it's it'd be interesting to see if someone could take this and maybe adapt it to not need the Volcarona for that matchup anymore.
Yeah, good point. I don't know. I've liked Volcarona for a long time. I haven't played with it yet in this game, just because I think I'm married to a dolphin. take that out of context.
I don't know what context you can make that any better in, but yeah.
That's true, yeah. So, I don't know. I before theorized it on a rain team because it could be a fun answer, but I don't know.
Yeah. So
on this team still looks fun, and you've played it, so it's cool.
Yeah.
You know it better than me.
It's strong. It's literally like you send out Mousehold plus something plus Goldango, Dragonite, or Volcarona generally chip them down, and then you have Tusk and Iron Bundle in back. Like Sash Tusk and Booster Bundle in back is just an amazing cleanup duo, and you can mix things up by leading with your cleanup duo and just getting like a really aggressive
early
knockouts.
Sure,
yeah. And because like sometimes Oswald plus one of those just isn't a good matchup, but I would say 90% of the time you can do work with that. It's one of those teams that a really good player like Aurelian can do amazingly with, but it also kind of pilots itself to some degree, which is nice.
Sure.
Yeah, so I guess we can move down the list. Marco Silva, Marco Fierro, if you know them by that name, really prominent, really good player. They were running basically the same thing as Eric Rios, but swapping out Eric's Goldie and Arcanine for a Mimikyu and a Garg. Some interesting
big
stuff.
Big damage Mimikyu, not even like a supporting Mimikyu, which is cool.
Life Orb Mimikyu has become a big thing now, and I love the curse on there too. It's like people are still respecting Dozo right now, which I think is good. I don't think Dozo is as out of it as people seem to think it is.
I would like it to be more out of it. Does that count?
So that I don't have to waste a movesaw on Haze on my Dolphin? Yeah.
Yeah. Something better. Like any other non-water attacking move. I like looking at Amoonguss here and seeing an electric Terra type.
Yeah, so that's the thing. It's a completely bog standard team for most of it, but the outside of that Mimikyu, right? But the other cool bit of tech here is the Terra types on Amoonguss and on Iron Bundle. Electric on Amoonguss is interesting. Electric is a really weirdly underrated Terra type, in my opinion, because it only has one weakness, and Ground isn't even that common outside of Great Tusk, right? Like, very few people actually run Garchomp anymore.
Yeah, you have Garchomp. You have Aaron's Baxcalibur set is probably going to be somewhere.
But like ground coverage is
Great Tusk, like you said,
relatively sparse, and that's the only weakness that type has. So if you put it on a bulky mon and make it neutral to everything else in the game, that's pretty good. I'll take that.
Maybe I'll change mine. Well, all of this is an experiment of how can we make Harrison doubt his Charlotte team 3 days before the event.
I'm gonna tell you this, and I'm gonna tell anyone who happens to still be listening this: don't change your team 2 days before an event. Yeah,
that's very fair. That's very fair.
Unless,
and I do wholeheartedly agree, because at this point, like if you are seriously practicing, right, and like I've been playing on ladder a little bit on cart, not even on showdown, just to play some. You've been using that team and hopefully using that one team, so you know what to do with it. You know what it can leave. You get the game sense for that team, which is very important to get, especially before you go into 10 hours of playing this game, and you really want to. You kind of want to get into like a almost flow state, shut your mind off, and play
I wish, man.
until you have to actually think.
Yeah.
Like save the thinking.
So
is what you want to do.
Total non sequitur. This is the I'm not going to say a problem. It's not even a problem. It's just like the big difference between Pokemon and most other competitive video games, and most other competitive things in general. Like sports would fall under this too. In that there's no natural ability in this game, or there is, but it's strategic. You can't really turn your brain off entirely unless your opponent's genuinely bad and is going to let you click Tailwind Water Spout, right? Like you're
right. This is a strategy game.
Yeah.
Like we joke about like it's a 4D chess game, right? As you are positioning yourself, thinking through the next several turns. Like what I was saying before was way over exaggerated, right? You can't really turn your brain off and not think, but you can make the thinking part easier. Yeah, exactly. The more you want to
have game plans, and if you have to like come up with the game plans on the spot, you're probably not going to do amazingly over a large sample size of games.
You only have a minute and a half for turn 0. You only have 45 seconds per turn. You don't want to be thinking of all your strategies right then and there. There's not a lot of time.
You want to know all your options and then maybe choose from them at that point, right? So it's one of those things. I play a lot of fighting games. I've already said that on here, and it's the people who are really good at fighting games. They do turn their brains off for the first most of the day. Like
they go ultra instinct and just play. It's all muscle memory, twitch reactions.
If you took a top tier fighting game player and you practiced their game for 2 years and then you fought them, unless you are also a top tier fighting game player, they could beat you on any number of narcotics and lack of sleep and all of that combined. Like maybe if you cut off one of their thumbs, they'll still beat you. Like it's kind of nuts. Like I'm not even joking. Like I
don't know. I feel like muscle memory it needs the muscle part of that.
They will,
and the thumb muscles are
you
thin.
With their stumps. I'm not even joking. Like it's a different level of.
I know it's wild though.
Yeah. Anyway, in Pokemon, like even Wolfie's gonna have to think about his moves before he clicks them against you. He's not gonna just have a magic win button. Which is it makes it all the more impressive that there are these people who are this consistent and just top cut every event they go to. Anyway, moving down the list, we're gonna keep the limb loss in the podcast. I guess that was a decision.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
So Alex Gomez, I really liked their teams too. So they have this really fun mix of hyper offense and balance.
Okay, wait, hold on. Before we go into Alex's team in detail, we're looking at top 8 here on Victory Road. You can kind of see them all if you want to go. Look it up yourself at home. Every team here in top 8, every one of them I look at and I'm like, yeah, that's a solid Series 2 team. I don't think there's one that's like super crazy, super out there, super out of left field. I mean, like we're just going through it real quick. There is a single Dolphin that makes me very happy. There's no rain on that team though. But like we have Lilicole is there. We have
which was an exact copy of the Lilicole that won the event in the weekend prior.
I was gonna say I think that looks very similar. I guess the only thing that I don't see here is Psyspam.
Yeah, which makes me a little sad because I practice a lot against Psyspam, and all our friends seem to run it too. But yeah, it's I think the series has kind of centralized around this generally good stuff's balance.
These teams, it's all generic good stuff, which is good, and I don't think it's a bad thing. I'm sad that Series 2 is ending here in like 2 weeks, and I would not be surprised if we are seeing this plateau of the meta, right, and the centralization on this good stuff. Because it's ending, yes. No one's thinking about it anymore. No one has to be creative.
It's exactly that. So we had San Diego where everyone went crazy with the creativity because it was the first event of not just the format but the generation, and no one knew anything about it really. And then the event afterwards, which I forget exactly what it was, but there was one more Series 1 event in Europe prior to the switch to Series 2. And that event was just just San Diego teams copy-pasted.
Correct.
Because exactly what you're talking about. It's just, why would I bother going through all this trouble and all this risk?
Why would I bother
why would I go through all this risk to attempt to innovate and come up with something that will shift the meta if the meta will cease to exist in a week after this event? Like, there's no point.
There's Liverpool.
That was it.
Yeah. No, that's exactly it. So like it's bittersweet to see these teams, and like if you've been following along with the meta game for the last few months, like you can get an idea of what all these Pokemon do when you look at this team, which is good. And then you see these good players piloting these teams really well, and then being top 8 at a special event. So. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. So Alex Gomez's team.
Yeah, Alex Gomez. I think they've placed more than just here. They've been doing well pretty consistently now, and I kind of love this. So they have so you have that hyper offensive duo of Iron Bundle and Fluttermane, right, and the Arcanine Amoonguss core. Mm-hmm. But then they have this super.
Wow. Oh, there we go. I was back.
Okay, and then they have.
I lost you for a moment.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry about that. And then they have this super bulky physical offense core of Dragonite and Kingambit, and they support each other really well. You have that Dragon Steel, two-thirds of the fantasy core, and then the rest of it in Fluttermane, although Fluttermane's too frail to really count as a defensive core. And then you have the Defiant guarding this multi-scale Dragonite. So Dragonite doesn't want to be inner focus anyway, because your opponent is scared of intimidating King Gambit. And sometimes that's okay, because if you're using Intimidate in this format, 99% of the time it's with Arcanine, and you can just burn the King Gambit. But this one goes Terra Fire, so no, you can't. And yeah, no, it seems really cool. I watched Alex Gomez play. I think this was the player actually that Aurelian got particularly lucky against. Got that nice crit on.
Sure.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. The other bit, like, most of the sets are pretty standard. Tailwind on Dragonite, on the Lum Dragonite instead of Protect, which adds that element of speed control in to, really assist that hyper offensive duo. I'd imagine the King Gambit has a decent bit of speed on it, and I think it did based on what I saw. So it can do really cool things where it has a solid amount of speed. So Iron Bundle can click Icy Wind, make King Gambit actually faster than a lot of mid speed stuff, and then it clicks Assurance and gets the boosted base power stab move off of its crazy attack. And then you have Morning Sun on Arcanine, which I don't see a lot of. Like, it's over the slot that's normally either Snarl or Extreme Speed, so it still has Protect, Flare Blast, Wisp, but then just Recovery on the Safety Goggles Arcanine. I think the only thing I don't understand here is them going both Safety Goggles and Terra Grass. Usually you do one or the other. It's usually like Goggles Water or Citrus Grass. And they're just like, I really hate Amoonguss.
But like, even Amoonguss can, even a Terra Water Arcanine can stand in front of an Amoonguss with goggles and be fine,
so I'm
right?
not sure I understand the logic. There must be some, like, just pure, like, defensive type property of grass that they like on Arcanine outside of the Spore immunity.
That makes sense to me then.
Which I normally like. I like grass defensively on water types. I'm not sure that I get it on fire types, like ground resist, I guess, but that's all I can think of.
Right. Unsure, but it worked.
Yeah, clearly did. Alex did really amazingly here. I love this team. This is another one I would have liked to try if the format wasn't ending.
Again, every team. I'd love to try that if there was an opportunity.
Right, yeah, there you go. So let's just keep...
Hey, what we could do
What
could we do is take these teams and put videos on the channel that aren't the podcast.
Okay, yeah. On what ladder? Because the ladder will be gone too.
We have to record all of them next week.
Okay, deal. I'm not down for that. I'll be real with you, but
yeah, I know.
Okay, moving on. We're gonna get through the top 8. That's what I'm thinking. So
all right.
Juan Manuel.
Yep.
Odriozola.
Odriozola.
We're gonna butcher a bunch of names as uncultured Americans, and I apologize. So
just channel your inner Spanish. There you go.
I definitely have that. Maybe, probably.
Yeah, same. Same.
I gotta be real with you. There's not a lot to say here. This is very standard Moon Palafin stuff. You have the standard hands Amoonguss Palafin or Arcanine going in there too to make your Fire Water Grass, and then you have Moon Fluttermane, standard booster flying Dragon Dance Acrobatics Moon, and then Specs Fluttermane with the Terra Fairy. So like none of these interesting like defensive Terra types. Just I want to do damage with my Dazzling Gleam with my Specs Dazzle, and it's going to hurt you a lot. And this is doing...
Specs is still wild to me because I'm still impressed to see Specs doing well in Open Team Sheet. But I think it's just good players playing well. Right?
And B, it does well on Mons that just do such insane damage that's like, okay, you know it's coming. You're not going to stop it. What are you going to do to mitigate it?
Yeah, quite frankly, like also on things like Fluttermane, it's not going to last long if you have someone hyper offensive in front of you, right? Your Fluttermane's going down in a move or two anyway, so get the most out of that move.
On top of that, the two main Specs users that I've seen are Fluttermane and Goldengo, both of whom are ghosts, so they can't be fake outed. So you're not, unless you are clicking Tailwinds and a big move, or like a really powerful priority move turn 1, you're not stopping it from clicking a move and doing massive damage into your team before it goes down. So the other thing that's cool about Specs Fluttermane, I'm sorry, I don't have a whole lot to talk about on One Manual's team. Like, absolutely props for them doing so well with it. I've tried playing this archetype, and it is not actually as easy as it looks. There's a lot of nuance to it. But
I can see that.
The cool thing about Specs Fluttermanes I've seen recently is that they are running bulk now, and like a not insignificant amount of bulk, like actually a lot, to the point that most of them don't even run max speed anymore, from what I've seen. A lot of them will go timid, but they will not actually go 252 speed because they want those points in their bulk. And they'll aim for specific counts, but the whole point is, if you have a difference between living 1 turn and living 2 with Fluttermane, because it's so powerful with that specs item, that makes a huge, huge, huge difference. And some of them...
Again, getting the most out of that turn.
And some of them genuinely live things that they have no business living. And if you combine that with like Arcanine intimidating physical attackers, which is what Fluttermane has trouble with, if you have Iron Hands clicking Fake Out and stopping one of the attackers from going and making it so they can't double you up, it becomes a really big threat. My old strategy for dealing with this was I'd have my baby Palafin, Terra Water, click Jet Punch into the Fluttermane that I knew had specs, so I knew it couldn't protect, and I'd have Rain out there. Against a bulkless Fluttermane, that is a comfortable 100% OHKO. Against the new ones that run almost max HP and significant defense, they're actually guaranteed to live, or it's like a very favorable roll for them to live. And so I don't really do that anymore, because I don't know the spreads even with open sheets.
Right. Yeah, I've noticed that the bulky Fluttermanes, which a month and a half ago, bulky Fluttermane, what does that even mean? Now it's like I'm actually afraid of them.
I mean, this is
because you don't see it coming.
It's such a cool thing when you see metagames actually develop this way, and this is one of those ways that can still happen even with open sheets. But it's also the problem with short formats like this. We saw a lot of these innovations in Series 12 back in Sword and Shield. People started running really, really physically bulky Palkias to the point that they had almost no special attack investment. And the reason was that with Intimidate, they could take a hit from take a play rough from Ization and still click Trick Room. And no one would ever have thought to do that day one. They would have gotten max HP, max special attack, call it a day. But like after a while, the format got developed to a point where people thought, okay, I know that Kyogre players are always leading Kyogreization into me. What do I do to handle this? Like, how can I possibly handle that lead? And it comes up to that. And that format lasted over 6 months, and that's why we got those kinds of innovations. And we're only just starting to get it now, and now Series 2 is about to be over.
And those innovations, like, it's cool, not like to take that one step further in the conversation. It's cool because you see these Pokemon doing things that they wouldn't. You just don't expect. You don't expect a bulky Fluttermane. You don't expect.
It's unintuitive until it is, right?
Yeah.
Until it becomes the standard, and then we move one step further, even, and you'll find.
Yep, and then
there would be counters to this if we had time. And to be fair, Series 3 is going to be very similar to this, just with more tools. So we may see response. Yeah,
4 of them to be exact.
So we may see responses to these bulky Fluttermanes, and we already are to some degree. But like, yeah, I really have come around on wanting longer formats for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Okay, moving on. Antonio Sanchez, there's not a lot to say here either because they ran the same Lilycole team that won the regional a week prior to this. Very cool team. Scarf Tusk becoming a common thing now is kind of wild to me, but it honestly makes sense. Its only weakness really outside of its bad special defense is its speed. And so if you can just make it murder things early, then that's amazing.
I thought it was already, I thought Scarf was already a popular item on Tusk.
It started to show up during the regional that this one won more, I thought. But Sash was almost universal for a while.
Sure.
Yeah, but Lilycole being good is, it's always made sense to me. It's just kind of funny because it's always been good. It's the thing we were all scared of when we found out that both of these mons were in the decks prior to release.
But then people aren't using it. People didn't use it until 2 weeks ago.
I was so scared of it. In Series 1, I had my game plans ready for it. At one point, I was about to run a Terra Dragon Goldango because I was scared of a Lilycole lead. Think about it. I can't be slept. I resist eruption. And I resist grass.
All right. Hold on. So I'll take my Goldango, I'll put a Covert Cloak on it, and then make it Terra Dragon.
Yeah. So
you're onto something here.
This is, You're gonna turn it. You're gonna
I
turn
like
into
it.
Charlie from that scene in Always Sunny, like a day before the regional. Yeah, but
I might have
my point is,
options.
everyone was terrified about this on day one, and then just for some reason it didn't take off. People are
It's
just like, "Yeah,
gone.
this doesn't work." I don't
Yeah.
know. No real explanation for why they thought it doesn't work. Maybe they just don't want to rely on sleep powder. Maybe it was new toy syndrome. But as we saw last weekend, or the weekend before last, rather, it still works really
Right.
well, even with Paradox Mons. It's scary. It's something you really have to respect because it's faster than even Booster Bundle. Lillicole is one of the few things that can outspeed Booster Bundle reliably.
Right.
With the chlorophyll, obviously. So like, you just have to respect this thing, and then otherwise the rest of the team is just scary. It's that same Fire King Gambit plus multi-scale Dragonite combo, and then Specs Fluttermane and Scarf Tusk. Like, all of those are just very scary mons that you still have to respect. Like, if you have a lead that hard counters Lillicole plus Torkoal, great, good for you. Does that lead also handle just these other generically really powerful mons that you'd normally want to have a lead to counter as well? Like, it's one of those things where you could probably just not even bring Lillicole to a match, and like, you still know that it's serious.
You're scaring them on
it's
turn 0.
influencing their decision.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the same thing as Dozo. Yeah, like, you know they have to bring their game plan into it, even if you don't bring it. What are the last two teams? So Julio, where did Julio's team go? Here we go. Okay, so Terrafire Annihilate, kind of going back to basics on that one with a Citrus Berry. T-Tar has been really, like, I'm not even going to say sleeper. It's just like, it's weird. I feel like it hasn't won any events, but it's just been there, and like,
it's consistently just below.
But it's been threatening. I think the issue with it, and you kind of alluded to this earlier, is that it is just an all-in-one anti-Psy Spam mon. And despite Len winning an event with just hard Trick Room, Psy Spam, Hatterene, and Armarouge, it hasn't been all that popular of an archetype for whatever reason. Like, maybe Len is just the only one who can really pilot it all that well. But for that reason, maybe people are just seeing that and making a meta call that T-Tar isn't worth it. But it did well here.
Maybe. Another electric Among Us.
There it is, right? And
the gears have changed.
And Mental Herb on Among Us too. So that was one of those things that I think people started trying to do early in the format. Not just the format, the generation, and then thought like, oh, there's not that many taunt users. But with the rise of Talonflame, especially this series, it kind of makes sense that you can lead Among Us, go Terror Electric and resist flying, and not be taunted. They can't really stop you. Those hyper offensive teams can't really stop you in that way. Especially if they lead Talonflame, if that other mon can't Oko your Among Us, then what are they gonna do? You will sleep something, and Talonflame rarely runs Protect.
Right, because this is gonna try and get something off with Gale Wings and then dive quickly.
It's normally like Tailwind, Brave Bird, Taunt, and
something fire.
Will-O-Wisp. Yeah.
Will-O-Wisp. I've seen what's the other fire recoil move?
Flare Blitz and Overheat happen too. But Protect happens sometimes, but it's very rare compared to the others. But I don't know what to say about this one as much. Like Safety Goggles, Volcarona as well. It seems like they kind of took a similar approach to Alex Gomez in that it's just 4 super bulky offense mons, and then just also bundle and Fluttermane. Like, I can go Burr if I want to, but I don't want to.
Yeah, we often get to the point towards the end of a meta, especially, where I feel like high offense is gonna dominate the beginning, and then as it mellows out, you get more of this still offensive, but bulkier mons and sets in them. Yeah. Yes, and then especially teams that have different modes they can run in various ways. That comes out a lot more towards the end of the meta. That's why we're seeing a lot of the stuff here. Despite the fact that a lot of these teams, again, you look at them like, that's a Series 2 team. Look at the conversation 20 minutes ago. they're all still like there's you mentioned like nuance on the team before, how they're played, what modes they can run. Obviously, EV and IV or EV changes, like stat changes, whatever, makes a difference. So like there's all that stuff that goes into it as well, even though they are generic Series 2 teams now.
On that note, the final top 8 team. Oliver Espelin, also really consistent player. Also similar team. Actually, it is identical to Alex Gomez, with the one exception of the Brute Bonnet over the Amoonguss, which they just wanted to be more offensive. So this is it is identical in terms of mon choice, not in terms of the actual moves. They went with
I would say there are some differences
Band
there.
Dragonite.
Okay.
And then on top of that, the really cool thing, what I've really loved to see recently is defensive Terra types on Fluttermane. This one going water, so it's specifically kind of giving the middle finger to Dolphin players. Again, like Fluttermane is really scared. Like maybe they can go bulky and not die to like a baby Palafin Jet Punch, but they're not living hero form Palafin Jet Punch almost ever, unless they go Terra Water, unless they resist it. And this one is going to do that. On top of that, water is just a fantastic defensive typing. So if this one's running that kind of bulk we were talking about earlier, it's actually sticking on the field. You're probably talking about 2, 3, maybe even 4, like big choice specs Fluttermane attacks off of it, just like despite its terrible bulk.
Especially like right now, looking at, I mean, we look at the top 8 here. We can just think about the generic, what's doing well in Series 2. Like what threatens water? You have electric types and grass types are the things that threaten water the most. And then I guess bundle too with freeze dry, but we'll take that out of the picture here for a moment. There are no like grass type offensive Pokemon at the top right now, except Lilligant.
For Brute Bonnet. But this Brute Bonnet has no
and then
grass
Brute Bonnet.
moves. It doesn't.
Wait,
it
does
has
it not?
Crunch, Sucker Punch, Spore, Protect. Spore is technically grass, but that's not what I'm talking about.
This is Citrus Berry.
Like, it does no damage in grass moves.
Oh, yeah. So you don't see a lot of it. Like, the damage in grass move you're going to see is, like, Leaf Storm from Lilligant, because, again, 2 weeks ago they became popular. And then Bullet Seed from Bonnet. Is that it?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, they'll run
then,
Seed Bomb if they don't have loaded dice, but yeah.
Sure. And then, like, the other option is Electric and Hands. And then, like, maybe a Thunderbolt Goldango.
Anyway.
But Hands is going to murder your Fluttermane just because it's strong. But also, Fluttermane Fluttermane threatens Hands, kind of. It's going to chunk it.
Yeah, I mean,
right? Maybe I'll take it down.
Can kill them if they're not spec to do so. Yeah, not to live it. Yeah, like, and you have to really invest to live it.
Yep. So, like, you're going to have a rough time. Like, you don't like each other already, whatever. So water is not a bad type for a Fluttermane. Yeah, no, is what I'm getting at. Luckily, I'm not running Fluttermane, so I don't have to think about changing my Terra type on Fluttermane now too. So
yeah. So that, I think we actually did it. We actually got through all top 8. We never actually go through every team normally. It's usually like just the highlights. What did you like the most, kind of thing. But
what's nice about that is it was very digestible to just see the top 8 and not the top 16 or 32 or 64 like we do in other other events.
And for what it's worth, this was such a stacked event for a special event that didn't count as a regional. I think they got the same amount of first place still got 200 CP. They call it a special event, but it's effectively
it's still CP. Yeah, like, why do they have that distinction?
I don't
like, what
really
does that
know.
even mean?
There weren't any special events in Gen 8, so it's something that's come back now. But yeah, I just wanted to, like,
they just wanted to be special.
This was a really stacked event. Like, we're not going to go through their teams, but like, just to go down past that top 8, you had Leonardo Bononomi, who was just utterly crushing every online event. You had Boss, you had Flavio down there. I want to say that I saw Edu at one point playing on stream. So like the reigning world champ was here.
Edu got ninth.
Yeah, you're right. Yep. I just missed him. Yeah, so like the reigning world champ was there and didn't make top 8. Like this was such a stacked event. Yeah,
this was an event.
Yep, absolutely.
It's wild to see.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. Great tournament, great send off to Series 2, and this pretty much is the goodbye to Series 2. We'll talk about our experience at Charlotte when we get back here for another episode to record.
Next week.
But But after that, that's
Yeah.
it. We can start getting into the ruin mons. So like on the topic of that shift, I am interested to see like how much, because like at first, obviously, people are going to be really like preoccupied with playing with their new toys, right? But after that,
Sure.
how much do we see the development of Series 2 teams versus is it just going to be completely fresh, like everything centered around a
I don't
ruinous
know.
mon's ability?
I was wondering that too. Like, what are the chances of completely new teams that are you start from a ruinous mon and you go from there, or do you take Series 2 teams and throw a ruinous mon on there and then see how that plays, or do you just take a Series 2 team, do nothing to it, and
There
succeed?
were no
Right? Like,
Paradox teams that have done well in Series 2. They had to adapt to the Paradox mons existing, but like
yes,
they made changes to
yes.
account for them. But there were some teams that did well at regionals that had no Paradox mons at all. And yeah, are there going to be any teams with no Ruinous mons that can actually stand up in Regulation C? Like
Series C Regulation
Victory Road
3.
has
Say it
Utrecht
right,
down as
please.
Regulation B, but they're not technically official, so I don't know if that's true. That's how we're supposed to talk about it retroactively.
Well, I also think I think it's supposed to be a retroactive thing. Like, it's always been Regulation B. It was always Regulation A before the Paradox Mon came in. They're just
Yeah.
rewriting history a little bit. No, I agree too. Like, I want to know. I think the first couple of events that we see in Regulation 3 will definitely be
Yeah.
dominated
Just because
by
people want to
Ruinous
play them,
Mon.
right?
That's my prediction. Yeah, correct. It's going to be a combination of people want to play them and people think that's how you do well, right? And then middle of in a month, we'll see some people starting to crop up of like, this is how you play around the Ruinous Mon without needing to
Yeah.
be ruinous.
With
So
that said, I have seen some
we'll see.
utterly horrific, like on the offensive and defensive side. I don't know if we're going to head into the most just degenerate hyper offense or stall meta imaginable. And the crazy thing is, it could literally be both.
Yeah, it's gonna diverge, and like you'll have the super high
But
offense and
they'll
have
be
the
in the same format
extremely
because
slow
I have
stall.
seen some
Yeah.
horrible, horrible things. Check out our friends over at Pokesports to see Wo Chen
Oh no.
and Ting Lu on the same team just make people very, very sad. And
I'm excited to do
weirdly,
that.
because that's so anti-meta, I think that's not anti-meta, like anti what people generally like. Stall is not a normal VGC thing, right? So that's weird enough
No, it's
that it
not.
makes good content. But I don't know, the hyper offensive stuff that
Yes.
everybody's doing in Series Zero, it didn't go away. It's still really strong. I've only played a handful of Regulation C games on
Yeah.
ladder just to play with it. I just grabbed the team I was using in Series Zero and pressed buttons and won like 10 in a row. It's just, oh, you're like you existed in front of my Dragonite and you're not a ghost type. Bye. I pressed delete on you,
Goodbye.
and that, yes, there will be obvious counterplay for that. There, you can Terra Ghost, you can swap in your attack reducing mon, you can be a steel type, whatever. But like,
Right.
you have to respect these things even as a good player. So it's going to be interesting. I can't wait to see what's going to happen.
And there y'all have it. Our preview for Regulation C.
Be very afraid. Also, Fissure's meta.
Yeah,
now,
well,
so be ready for that.
no. If Fissure
Well,
wins
it's not meta
Charlotte, I'll be
in
sad.
Reg
And I had flashbacks to Dozo, because that made me sad too. But yes, when you have freaking Ting Lu also doing like fissure nonsense, because I'm otherwise weak.
It's 110 base attack, so it's okay.
Kind of. No, it has.
But the real reason it's optimal is that you can click Fissure, and then Stomping Tantrum. If it misses, your Stomping Tantrum does double damage. So you might as well have clicked 2 Stomping Tantrums, and then 1 in 3 times you also get a free KO from that. So why would you not?
Yep.
The only reason you wouldn't is that you want that move slot for something. But it actually, Tinglu's kind of the opposite of 4 move slot syndrome, where it doesn't have a whole lot of great coverage. So you might as well slot in Fissure.
Right. We went over the Ruinous Mons like
I think we
3
did. We
episodes
not even
ago.
talked about that.
I think when Regulation
But
C was
it's just I think it bears
a little.
repeating, but
I don't know about that.
just horrifying.
No, I was gonna say like next week or the week after. I imagine we're gonna go deeper into Regulation C. Probably actually the first episode after Regulation C drops. So 2 episodes from now, I think would make sense to be like, this is what we've seen. This is how it's going. This is the yeah, because I've not touched anything Regulation C yet. I've not looked at it, like we said before at the top of the episode, like focusing on Charlotte, Series 2 still, yada, yada, yada. I'm equal parts excited for Regulation C, terrified of Regulation C, and excited to maybe, just maybe, since I'm not going to any other regionals here soon, take a small break from focusing all my energy on competitive Pokemon.
That'd be nice.
I don't know if that's gonna happen. We'll see. But yeah, equal parts, all that. I am very excited for it. Don't get me wrong.
Do you want to call it there?
So yeah, we just hit an hour in recording. Yeah, so I'm proud of us. I'm proud of your phone.
Battery too.
That was
quality product.
That was good, quick thinking. Yes. So if y'all are coming to Charlotte, come say hi. The 3 of us will be there. We'll be hanging out, playing games, passing out business cards, trying to make them a collector's item. So if you want to get more of those, come find us. But just come say hi. It'll be fun. And then next week we'll talk about Charlotte. Is that it? We're going into it. Thank you to RobKTA for the use of our theme song, Goldenrod Game Corner off the Ultraball album. My name is Harrison. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at @row_ixon. I'm not streaming this week because I'm going on a plane tomorrow afternoon. But next week I'll probably actually play some Series 2 laddering. We'll see how that goes. I want to stream more. Rowan, who are you?
Who am I? I'm Rowan. You can find me on Twitter, Rowan W. Hall, YouTube, Rowan Hall. My last video was my first week in Malamar. I have played the second week in the Malamar games. A lot of fun. I won't
Oh, that's right, Malamar.
spoil the results of it, I suppose, if that's part of the suspense, but I will have a video up for that relatively shortly, and then we're going to play the third week a little delayed because of Charlotte. My opponent is also going to be in Charlotte, so that'll be fun against him.
What's the
third week
for the
is
third week?
Choose your opponent's team. So me and Neil VGC
that's right.
are going to be choosing the horrible, unusable 6 Pokemon for each other to attempt to turn into a functional team, and then the wet noodles will kind of slap each other.
Yes.
Yeah,
I remember you talking about this, and the things you have theorized are just
Neil was
just
actually
so
too.
dirty.
We were going to do it today, and Neil tried to give me a real team. I'm like, no, don't do this. You don't want to do that. I could take the free win, but don't do that.
I like that it's you'd rather no, I don't want to take the free win, and also I don't want to give you good things. So you should give me bad things back.
I'm fairly confident in my ability as a player. I also think that Neil is a better player than me. So I will take whatever the gimmick I can get is on these.
It's pretty funny. And then Sheldon's stuff is down below. You can find him in I'm not even going to try, because every time we say the person who's not here, we mess it up. So his stuff is down below in the link tree. It's Captain Univa. It's Captain_Univa on Twitter. I type it every time I make the episode. The things, right? Little nameplates that I have. Yeah, I don't know how to copy and paste with DaVinci because it's like really weird things. So it is just as easy for me to type it out every time. But anyway, little nameplates that you see down below, I type it every time. If you know better editing skills, this is what I talked about while you were gone. This is my monologue. If you know better editing skills, tell me, because like I said, I'm not good at editing. I just happen to do it. I put our boxes in other boxes. That's my editing. Anyway, you can find all our stuff down below. The Discord is down below. The Patreon's down below if you'd like to support us and get your name at the end of the episode here. What else is there? I'm going to say it again. His app is still down there too. So go use Replay Genie if you want to watch Showdown.
After we've had a week of official games. I don't have it on Series 2 right now. Yeah, it needs to be.
That makes sense.
These hard-coded changes, yeah.
Okay. Sure. So, anyway, all that stuff and more down below. The Battle Corner is currently happening. We'll have another one here. So the next one will probably be Regulation C, and starting with that week is, if I were to guesstimate when that would be.
That'll be it.
That's it.
I think that does
Anything else? Cool. Well, until next time, press start and game on.
Bye, everyone. We did it.
We did
my
it.
phone is
I'm so happy.
Soon, so I'm going to drop.
Fantastic.
Cool.
All right, I'll talk to you in Charlotte.
Stay put.
Bye.